Hello, welcome. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining me in this video. This should be a fun one and an interesting one for some of you, especially people interested in World War II or just military memorabilia or family history or family heirlooms. So I found this. I'm doing stuff, still going through stuff and finding photographs. So I found this envelope today that uh, has my mother's handwriting on the outside. Says Gene, Second World War, Flying Tigers in Burma. So inside here, we're going to have pictures of my father and his friends from Burma in 1944 and 1945 during the China offensive in World War II. My father was a B-24 pilot, and they were flying out at night and bombing Japan, I think is basically what was happening here. So this is my dad's jacket and a couple patches, a couple Flying Tigers patches that weren't on this jacket that were his that I have. And this is called a blood chit. This is the back of the jacket. But we're going to just look at the photographs. Maybe we'll look at the jacket and the patches. And the front of the jacket has more patches a little bit later on. Let's see. These aren't all. Okay, there they are. So I thought about doing this where you guys could see me talking to you and stuff, but I thought it would be better because we want to look at the pictures closer. And when I do it the other way, we don't get the camera doesn't focus as well. This is a photograph, an interesting thing. Came just like this to me. This is Berlin. This is Berlin 1950, and I know the story behind this. So my mother said that there was some photographer there where she took a picture of the photographer took a picture of my father, the photographer took a picture of my mother, and then this was a purposeful thing, almost like a novelty. But for some reason, at one point, either she wanted to or somebody thought of, it wasn't me, tearing the picture in half just a little bit. This is 1950, and these are my parents. But 5 short years before this, my dad was in the war in Burma. So we're going to look at these. I haven't put these in any order. We're just going to take a look at them. These are pictures that my father took. Well, we already covered that. This is 1944, 1945. Well, you can kind of tell by look at these things on the edge. But anyway, let's get in here. So the plane's name is Misbehavin'. This isn't my dad. This is a friend of my dad's, presumably, and he's pointing directly at her nipple. This is probably where my father sits for his job for work, and that might actually, I mean, maybe he's up in there. I don't know. I don't know any of the stories behind these pictures. My father passed away when I was 4. My mother didn't really have any information about any of this. This all happened before she knew my father. They got married after the war. So we can guess that this is the flight line. That's my dad right there. So this certainly looks like the flight line, doesn't it? What a beautiful photograph. So I don't know this guy's name. Obviously a friend of my father's or a coworker, and then this is my dad right here. And he's like 22 years old at this point doing this job. 23. Here they are. These are all Burma, 1944, 1945. Here they are outside. They've got some furniture outside. I'm sure it's hot. This is my father on the right, and another one. Maybe that's the same guy we saw before. Also, I do know a few things about this because there were a couple of reunions that my mother went to, and in these reunions they had like little tributes and they read about my dad's career and stuff. Now I never got to go to any of those reunions because they all happened while I was in the Army, but my mother did bring back some of the paperwork from them, and so I learned some things about my dad's military career from that stuff and from those reunions. And so he was for a short time here, I believe he was the XO, despite being like 23 and 24 years old. He was the executive officer of his little situation here, of his company. Yeah. So here we are. This, we're getting into some pictures here that aren't Burma. And so all I can do is guess and piece together what's happening here. So here's what I think happened, but I don't know for sure. I think that that my father and his company went from Europe to North Africa, because I think this is Egypt. And then I know it sounds crazy, and then they went from Egypt to China, because this is Egypt. So this is my father right here, and he looks like an absolute dead ringer for my youngest son. Like if you looked, I wish I had a picture that I could just show you right now, but if you looked at a present day photo of my son, he would look exactly like his grandfather in this picture. So that's my dad right there. And then these are all his buddies. And it looks like they are just getting in country. This kind of a picture looks to be like just getting off the truck and just getting together and getting the camera out and taking a picture. Here's another picture of my father. This is a really nice picture. This looks like my oldest son. So, I mean, it's interesting from the different angles. So I think this train, this is my dad right here. And look, somebody in 1944 is throwing up rabbit ears. So I think this train, I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but from the other pictures that are on the roll, I think this train is Egypt. Okay, I think this is North Africa. Maybe Egypt. This is Burma. This is Burma. What is that in the background? I thought it was a plane, but it's a building. I almost feel like we're going too fast. Because how often do we get to see pictures like this? I've never looked at these pictures this close, like up under a camera and zooming in. Okay, see what I told you? This is Cairo, gentlemen, or ladies, whoever's watching. I believe this is Cairo. Remember what I said? Egypt, North Africa? Because, look, I remembered seeing this. It says Cairo hitchhike stop. Warning, don't stand in highway, or don't stand on highway is probably what it says. None of these are my dad. I think my dad's taking this picture. I don't think this is him. Could be, though. It's pretty similar looking, but the stance is pretty close. That might be my dad right there. So see what I'm saying? Let's look and see if we can see any pyramids anywhere. I don't see any pyramids in the background. But this certainly looks very Indiana Jones-like, doesn't it? It's like Abbott and Costello joined the Foreign Legion. 1944, no doubt, all of this stuff here. Okay, this is Burma. So this is the flight line in Burma. Look at the beautiful aircraft. Look at that. B-24, guys? Is that what this is? Everybody's standing around talking, right? Maybe looking, what's going on here? It looks like a wet morning. Looks like it just rained, which probably happens like every early morning in Burma. I don't know what time of year this is, but maybe it's the monsoon season. Who knows? But it looks like it's been raining. Maybe they're standing around talking about taking off. They're talking about clearing the flight path. They're talking about waiting and deciding whether they want to take off because of the rain. This is a picture of my dad doing his job, sitting in his spot, right? This is inside of one of those B-24s. And I think I have this exact hat. Let's go see. Hold on. All right, let's see. See the hat that he's wearing? It's this hat. So this is the hat that he's wearing. It's warm, so he's not wearing the jacket, but this is the jacket that he would have been wearing too. That's pretty cool. I hadn't pieced that together until right now. I just have always had that hat. My mother gave it to me. I really like this picture. What's going on here? That's a train in the background that says Rock Island. I wish some of them said something. They don't say any. None of them say anything on the back. I forgot to mention that. Nothing says anything on. None of them are. He didn't write anything on these. Okay, what is the Rock Island? They're all in flight suits. Okay, you know what this is? This is flight school. This is flight school in Lubbock, Texas. Does that sound right? Hold on, let me look. Upon completion of the Air Corps flight training program, he graduated as a multi-engine pilot at the Central Training Command located at what is now known as Reese Air Force Base, Lubbock, Texas in 1944. Following graduation, he was assigned to the Pacific Theater of Operations as a pilot in B-24s and involved in the China offensive. So this is him and his buddies before they left. This is probably Lubbock, Texas. This is my dad right here, looking exactly like my son, exactly dead on like my son. And everyone's wearing flight suits, like 1944 era multi-engine pilot flight suits, looks like. This is a picture from Burma of my father and maybe the exact blood shit that we're looking at right here on this jacket. Let's see if it's the same. Well, I mean, they probably all had them. Well, right? The pilots did, or the air crew. So all the air crew, everybody on the plane has this on their jacket. So I don't know if this is a friend of my dad's receiving his, or if it's a friend of my dad's holding my dad's. But as I mentioned, towards the end of the war, my dad was the XO here. So this guy might be a new friend or a new guy, a new pilot, and my dad, this is a picture commemorating him receiving the blood shit for the back of his jacket. I don't know the story behind any of this. So I don't know what any of it is. All I know, this is my father on the right there, and then this is a co-worker of my father, another member of the Army Air Corps in World War II in 1944 and 45, holding a blood shit that just looks like the same one on the back of this jacket. These are our last two pictures. There's another picture taken outside of that train. Maybe this is graduation. This might be graduation day. This might have something. They're commemorating something. They're all together and the train is right there. This is my dad right here with no cover. And then all his friends, these people I'm sure are all pilots. And my dad looks just like my son. My son looks just like my dad. That's him right there, and it's the same hat again. All right, so this is Burma. That might be a Burmese. These are Burmese air crew. See the guys on the left? These are the Burmese people, air crew that are here, or people at the site. This is my father in this same hat again. And then one of his buddies, and they're in these really comfortable, cool-looking flight suits because they're aviators. Okay. So, I always had all this stuff. From the time I was little, it was around, and then once I joined the Army, something around the same time as my mother going to these reunions I'm talking about, she pieced a bunch of the stuff up and gave all the siblings different things. And I received most of my father's military stuff. She kept all of his medals and his awards and things, uniforms and stuff that she had kept. But she gave me this jacket, these patches, those pictures, that hat, and a couple other things. So this would have been from a different jacket. It's fabric, so this probably would have come off of the garrison jacket. Look at how it's made. Also, these patches, It's very likely that these patches were all made in country by the people that were local to where they set up the airfield. It's possible, it's very likely that these patches were made in country. In my knowledge, now I'm not an expert, just an enthusiast and the inheritor of these family heirlooms. So this is the Flying Tigers patch. It's always been that way. It was never on a jacket. This one also has always been this way, was never on the jacket, and always had this burn in it. And when I was a little kid, I remember I asked my mom if this was a bullet hole. And she said, no, it was probably a burn from a cigar ash. So this is cut of leather and painted. I've never looked at the back this closely. I wonder if I drew that as a child. There's no way. Who would have drawn that? It's a flying elephant? I didn't do this. I did not do this. I wonder if that's interesting. Did whoever make this? So these are all handmade, individually made. Dyed leather or painted leather and then painted and sewn? Really cool, huh? I don't know how many of these exist out there. This has just always been here. I've always had it. Here's his hat. Let's see what that... Well, he had a small head, huh? Spec number 94-3096, size 7. Shaw Barton, Coshocton, Ohio. Air Force, property of Air Force, U.S. Army. All right. So here's what the back of the jacket looks like. It has this sewn on it. It's always been this way and done pretty good throughout the years, though in the last few years, this stripe on the American flag has stitching came undone and it's unpeeled a bit, and the same down here on this patch right here. Now, for years, I used to wear this jacket. I used to wear this jacket out just like it is, like it was nothing, like it was no big deal. People probably thought that it wasn't even the real thing, like it was some sort of a replica, like they didn't even, like, you know, unless I was going to someplace where somebody would recognize it and know what it was. But I used to just wear it out. This Chinese writing, it's faded over the years, but not that much. I mean, it looks pretty good still for how, you know, this is from 1944. So on this side over here, one of these, and it's kind of, it's like felt. It's like soft felt. And the red is soft felt too. And this is all leather. Let me take this hanger off of here. Action tailored by Rough Rider, made in California. This one is faded over the years, but not too much. I mean, this is just how it always looked. It's a dragon wrapped around a bomb, and it appears to be hand painted on here. And there's, look at the stars that are stamped. There's 5 stars stamped on there. There's this dragon that, how is this done? There's more stars stamped right there. Maybe this is printed. This image might be printed on this leather somehow, but it's hard for me to tell. I'm not sure. Okay, only a couple more, only one more. And then on this side, you've got his wings. And then this one that looks sick. It's a black no, it's just a regular. It's yeah, he kind of looks like a black demon dropping black bombs. What a great image. It looks like, is that Batman? Sure looks like Batman's the shit, right? Is this the Batman head? But I mean, obviously the face isn't. It's not painted, but the shape. That's the first time I ever made that connection. Is it a bat or a bird? I can't tell what it is. Is it a bat? Is it a bird? Is it a man? Is the symbol created to strike fear into the heart of criminals and enemies? So there's some bombs here that he's holding in his hands and dropping. And that is it. Those are the patches, other than the other ones we looked at, the first two, the Flying Tiger patches that were never on the jacket when I received it. So this was kind of interesting and fun. I hope you guys enjoyed doing this. We looked at these things that should be in museums. Some of these pictures are really cool. Luckily I filmed this whole thing, so we can go back over, but even so, it was stuff that even though I've had it my whole life, I felt like in a way I'm looking at it for the first time in a different light because we've got it all up close. Anyway, I hope all these guys' families are doing great, and rest in peace to everybody here. And thank them all for their amazing service and for this wild job that they were doing at these very young ages. Look at all these guys are in their 30s. I mean in their 20s. All these guys are in their 20s. Everybody here. All these pilots that and ground crew guys that we've been looking at. I didn't see anybody that looked a little older except for maybe this guy, but I still think he's a friend of my dad's. So I'm pretty sure all these cats are in their late 20s, early 30s tops doing this job. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun making it. And thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.